Right, I think we are ready to roll, Elizabeth. So
Let's get it started, my friend.
everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ben Balsog. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for Accelerant, joined today by my lovely colleague, Elizabeth Bernberg, our Senior Director of Business Development. And today, our first webinar of the year with this looming potential recession. Is it happening? Is it not happening? What's going to be going on here? We want to make sure you guys are in a good spot to recession-proof your businesses, to help your communities and your advertisers recession-proof their businesses as well. You know what? We don't just like to recession-proof, we like to 10x it. So today, we're going to be going over a few things about what that current economic climate looks like. We're going to share 5 tips and tricks to help your businesses stay relevant. Talk a little bit about industries to target, who you can get in front of right now, who you can tell your sales teams to go and start prospecting, how to pivot your talk track using the right tools, then also what partnerships matter and why they matter so much. Make sure you're able to get enough and the right type of support from your vendors, your partners, the types of people that you're working with.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ben. This one's near and dear, to everyone, because this is so top of mind, as we start a new year. The topic's been looming around in the headlines for a while, but we want to be sure we're kind of setting the tone as well for this webinar with some questions to think about. Those of you who have joined Ben and I before in the past, we like to kind of pose these out, put these out there for you to think about. So definitely keep these top of mind. How has the current economy impacted your business? Y'all, we've all been impacted, but really think about it from sales perspective, recruitment perspective, costs, team morale. Absolutely. How has the recession really impacted your business? All the areas. Are your sellers addressing the economy when talking to advertisers? Are they talking about that gorilla in the room, right? Are they being forthright about it? Let's, get this one out of the way. If so, what is that talk track? How are you making sure that they're really, again, focusing on that consultative approach with the advertiser and keeping that empathetic tone and just open mind conversation with your clients? And if you don't have a talk track, why not?
Start looking at those things.
Oh.
I think, and Elizabeth, I forgot to tell everybody, we are going to send the recording and the deck out to everybody afterwards in a follow-up.
Appreciate that. Yes, thank you so much. And also, we want to make this as much as we can conversational with those of you all who are attending. Please use that chat feature, that Q&A feature. Ben and I'll be addressing those as we kind of progress through today's webinar. But let's get started. Quick overview about who Accelerant is, what we're all about. I know many of you are current partners. Thank you so much for joining. But we also know we've got a great amount of awesome prospects, right? So Accelerant is a technology and digital advertising company. And our goal, our war cry, if you will, is to make the complex simple. So that's really who we are in a nutshell. We offer the full gamut of digital products and solutions and capabilities, all within a white labeled environment. And what really separates us from, them versus us, we've built out an amazing total digital solution, proprietary software technology that oversees the digital sales process. So everything from sales enablement, campaign management and execution, all the way to transparent reporting. And we marry that with the amazing people power, the Accelerant team, to bring the best to our partners every single day. All right, enough about us. Let's get into this climate.
So the current economic climate, what is really happening here, that recession debate? Elizabeth, tell us what economic indicators are showing us.
I mean, what are they not showing us? We're getting mixed messages, right? But we've been seeing these headlines since, I want to say, the summertime, even maybe before. So we've got some information here, cloudy with the chance of recession, obviously huge probability for this year, decreasing as we go into 24 and then further into 25. Where the economy is right now, there are those indicators that we should be kind of heading in that direction. But the silver lining is you, as the kind of go-to and the forefront of local media, have really the ability to keep your finger on the pulse, but also help guide your advertisers through this. They're looking for that support during this time. I love this quote. This is super, super important to really kind of remind yourself of, as we continue this webinar. During times of economic stress, it is more important than ever to engage with your most loyal customers. Being strategic with marketing dollars allows your brand to continue the conversation, even in a tight market. So make sure you are doubling down your time and energy on those loyal customers, but don't forget about new opportunities as well. And we're going to touch on that in a little bit.
I think e-commerce Times even had a good quote here as well: increase spend or lose sales. I agree to this to an extent. I don't necessarily think that you always have to increase your spend here, but if you just maintain that consistency, maintain that connection with your customers or your businesses with their customers, then they should be able to continue to connect with them and actually drive their businesses through these tough times as well.
Absolutely. And remember, from a digital standpoint, from a products and capabilities standpoint, look at this. Digital is still the #1 growth segment in local media. So this is where you all are seeing such opportunity and being able to extend that reach for your advertisers. This is some great data that we have from Burrell and Associates. We love Burrell, right? But you can really see how these like OTT, targeted banners, programmatic display, paid search, that these are continuously growing. And these are products that you need to be sure are in your portfolio. Are you talking about these solutions with your advertisers? And what are they currently doing within these platforms to make sure their brand remains relevant and top of mind during these times?
If you're a broadcaster, if you're an out-of-home operator, if you're in print publishing and you're not doing digital sales right now, you guys should be really trying to get into that to help make sure that you're protecting yourselves, because digital actually complements all of these different channels so well. You're able to capture these people when they're ready to make that purchase, and you're able to track it all as well so that you can actually see exactly how well and how hard those marketing dollars are actually being spent. If you're not doing that, you're going to have competition, agencies down the street, other broadcasters, other out-of-home, other printers who are going to be trying to take those dollars from you. And so it's important when you're providing this all-encompassing omni-channel approach to your customers, when you have these within your entire arsenal, you can absolutely stay in front of them and keep those dollars locked in. There was one question in here, can we elaborate a little bit more on digital sales? Offering things like listings management, video and over-the-top streaming television, targeted banners, even Google paid search as well, and local SEO, organic SEO. We see what technology has done, what Google has done, what all these search engines have done. It's gotten everybody to spend over half their days on their connected devices, right? So we need to make sure that we're in front of them and we're connecting with those people the way that they really want to be connected with.
Absolutely. And you all this is prime opportunity as well. And again, I mentioned earlier, they lean on you as those marketing consultants to really guide them through this process. They admit that they're rookies. They don't know what they don't know. This is your time, especially now, to really be setting the game straight. This is what you're currently dealing with your products, your services, the competitor. You've told me what your goals and objectives are this year. And this is how we together are going to approach the campaign strategy and reach those initiatives by these particular tactics, right? So very, very important to remember. And a lot of this is really tied to our, SMBs, the mom and pops, right? Less than 10 employees, 60% novice. They need your guidance. They need your knowledge to help build out what's going to help them stay relevant in this next year and in the following couple years.
I think it's also important to note, Elizabeth, your team, your salespeople, your media specialists, they don't absolutely need to be an expert themselves, but they do need to be dangerous enough to be able to carry on those conversations and have a good anecdotal kind of streamlined of communication with those clients to talk about, these are the different tactics we're going to be using. These are our expected results, and this is why we're doing that. Every decision that we make is extremely scientific and data driven. We understand what can help drive the best results. So if you're looking at ways to drive more digital sales, new revenue streams, and be able to provide products and solutions that make them feel that register ringing, feel free to reach out to us and learn a little bit more about how you can take your team from that novice to just dangerous enough level.
All right, some more stats. We love the graphs. 53% of businesses buy digital from local media companies. So again, we're wanting you to obviously be drinking this Kool-Aid. It's about you. And it's now. The time is now. From newspaper to radio to broadcast television, everything right here. Again, this is your time to make hay. And to echo what Ben mentioned earlier, if you're not talking about these solutions and looking at your advertisers' holistic marketing plan, not just what you bring to the table with your core assets, but if you're not including all of these other extension capabilities and really coming from a holistic, and this is our umbrella campaign and our full strategy for your marketing, you are missing a huge opportunity to gain that rev share, that budget share, and to also further instill yourself as the trusted partner for your advertiser.
I think we gave a webinar, I think it was Q4 of last year, Elizabeth. It was about building your revenue and your deal size and loyalty with your customers through digital sales. 7 out of every $10 in advertising are being spent on digital media right now. We want you guys to be able to take those dollars and put them in your pockets. Take them away from your competition and keep them in your pockets, because your competition, if they're taking the digital dollars, they're also trying to peel away your core dollars as well.
Exactly.
So as we move into this, we want to give you guys some actionable items, things that you can take to your customers tomorrow, on Monday, things that you can share with your team on how to approach your customers. Our friend Jeremy right here is going to give us 5 tips and tricks on how to stay relevant with these folks. The benefits of advertising through tough times. This is so important. First off, the noise level is going to drop from your competitors. Typically they do, because they start pulling back a lot. If you stay out there, you're going to get rid of all the noise on the outside, and you're going to be strong and prominent in front of all of your prospective customers. So remind your advertisers, hey, now's not the time to be pulling back. Now's the time to stay strong and make sure that we're still connecting with our communities, because your competitors are likely going to be pulling back. Number 2, this also allows for advertisers to reposition their brand or even introduce a new product to adapt to the changing marketplace. We saw this a lot during COVID in 2020. Tons of brands were just changing the way that they were kind of approaching their potential prospects, whether it was the way that they were doing it or the way that their products worked or how they explained them. This is something that you need to do so that you can share with your customers, your potential customers, how you're really going to benefit them. Third,
if I may, Ben, just
please,
to kind of add a little bit more to that, see what's highlighted there, introduce a new product. So if you are not offering digital products and solutions and you're thinking that now is not the time, you are incorrect. It is very much the time to do that. This creates excitement and sizzle also for your sellers, right? Getting them engaged, getting them really ready to hit the streets and talk to the advertisers about this new solution that's really going to provide that much more value and ROI to the advertiser.
I think I'm going to take a quote from my friend Muhammad, who's one of our search directors. He's got a bigger green thumb than all 70 of us combined on this call. He said the best time to plant a tree was 50 years ago. The second best time is now. It's the same thing with digital. Even if you didn't start it years ago when lots of other media companies and agencies were coming up and doing these types of things, it's not too late. Your customers are purchasing these things. If you're not buying them, other people are going to be selling it to them. So keep that in mind. We just want you guys to be able to take full advantage of those types of opportunities. Number 3 on our tips and tricks. When marketers cut back on their ad spending, the brand loses share of mind with potential of losing current and possibly future sales. Again, you remember when these guys start pulling back their advertising dollars and they say, oh, you know what? I stopped seeing as many people coming through my front door, stopped getting as many phone calls, whatever that might be. I don't care if they pulled back on their print, their broadcast, or any other space. They felt it and they told you about it. It's the exact same thing with their digital media too, but they understand that, hey, the noise level's down. We need to keep our share of mind up and in front of these guys all the time. So definitely make sure that they understand we don't want to lose that at all. Because if you start to lose that, then it's faster downhill than it is uphill to gain that share of mind back, right? Number 4, project to consumers the image of business stability during challenging times. Remember the saying, fake it till you make it? Well, this kind of goes along with that too. You want to make sure your communities understand we're here to support you as the people in our communities. We're here to support you in the things that you might need, whether I'm a services business, whether I'm a technology company, a restaurant, a bar with entertainment, whatever that might be. Show them that you're strong and you're there and you are stable. They want to do business with people just like that. And it helps them feel a lot warmer and fuzzier inside because they're making sure that they're plugging back into their communities as well too. There's a lot more of the shopping local these days than there is go to like just the big box stores. It's been a big push lately. And lastly, the cost of advertising drops during recessions. I'm not necessarily sitting here and saying drop all of your advertising needs. However, because the noise level comes down, there's not as much competition, because there's not as much people out there trying to fight for these types of things, the cost of it is actually going to drop. Like in your paid search campaigns, you're not bidding against as many people as you were before. So now we should be able to get a little bit more bang for our buck during these trying times. So these are really great benefits that you guys should be explaining and projecting to your customers to let them know now's not the time to be pulling back. Now's the time to stay strong and keep our hold on our communities and let them know that we're stable and here to support them. So this is a great way to help your team, help your customers. And Elizabeth does a good job of explaining this too, but think of putting your customers in these 4 consumer bucket groups, because not everyone can be treated equal, right? 1, some people are going to want to slam on the brakes. They feel especially vulnerable. They feel, business has been dropping significantly. You don't want to come at them, approach them with a super hard sale or say, you got to do this, you got to do this, got to do this. Be empathetic. Elizabeth, you mentioned it before. We have to be able to approach these guys in a fashion that suits them specifically. It's that consultative approach, right? And as salespeople, a lot of you are very, very good at it. However, just be mindful of exactly where they fall within here. The second type of consumer bucket groups, pained but patient. These people tend to be resilient and optimistic about the long term, but less confident about the prospects for the recovery or their ability to maintain their standard of living, where they feel like they might be taking a step back in order to protect themselves before they can kind of slingshot back into it, right? The third group, comfortably well off. These guys are secure about their ability to ride out the current future bumps in the economy. They feel confident that they're going to make it out and that they don't necessarily need to pull back in any form or fashion. And lastly, live for today. I think these people, this segment carries on as usual and for the most part remains unconcerned about their savings. These are people where I feel like they say, never waste a crisis, right?
Right.
We see everybody else starting to pull back. We're going to double down on these types of things. So understand where your advertisers are at and how to approach those folks. And you can come at them with, certain types of plans that'll be different based on the type of bucket that they fall in here.
Something to also highlight too with those group of customers right there, from an advertiser standpoint, I would ask your advertiser too, once you determine kind of where they fall, where do their customers fall, right? Because that can also then help us pivot, maybe talk track with the advertisers. What is the call to action on our creative right now? If you're feeling that the majority of your customers are, live today mindset, well, shoot, maybe let's have our imagery reflect that in our campaigns. Let's lean into the, the mindset that our customers have. So keep that in mind as well.
Definitely. And so when we move out of the kind of tricks, let's talk about some tips now too, right? Tip number 1, stabilize and reinforce the core branding position that you guys have. Make sure your clients understand that you're helping them stay top of mind and that you're remaining seen by those loyal customers. Tip number 2, always explain and Keep it dumb. You don't have to over-explain these things, right? The value of what these types of products and services provide. What are we doing this for? What are our expected results? And how much should we be doing in order to maintain what we're looking for? Tip number 3, messaging matters. I actually just read a LinkedIn post from a friend of mine. He mentioned that they did the exact same, like 55% off sale for an e-commerce brand. One set of ads said, New Year's Eve sale. The other set of ads had a less fun sale, but it's the exact same type of thing. That New Year's Eve sale blew it out of the water. They had one of their highest revenue weeks. The other one created one of their lowest revenue weeks. So, you have to be able to understand why this messaging matters and really how to, connect with those people in ways that, make us feel more warm and fuzzy inside. Empathizing with them is so important. I can't stress that enough. Elizabeth, tell us a little bit about this pro tip on here.
Love the pro tip here. So this is, bonus. And you kind of touched on it earlier, right? It's easier to go downhill than uphill. So you want to make sure that your advertisers maintain that momentum. So on average, increases in marketing spending during a recession have boosted financial performance throughout the year following the recession. So it's like investing now, right? Riding out some of the trials and tribulations of the market, right? But you're investing still because you know of those future gains. You are here to be in business and support your communities and marketplace longer than this year, longer than 5 years from now, longer than 10 years from now. Be sure that your marketing is representative of that as well.
Definitely. Tips number 4, reward those who are loyal. Oh my gosh, my parents did this so well. I was a little bit of I wasn't the best child, and I realized that because my siblings would get the most presents at Christmas, and I would only get a couple of them. But you have to reward those people who are most loyal to you, the ones who continue to shop with you. Give back to them, and they'll continue to give back to you more and more and more. It's like these rewards programs. There's everybody and their mom these days has got these new programs set up. Spend those points. Come back. I drink too much coffee from a local coffee joint around here called PJ's, and I've got rewards points up the wazoo. They are rewarding me and want me to come back and giving me a couple of free coffees. Talk to your customers. Talk to your advertisers about what they might be able to do to create an incentivized, rewards program. And then finally, tip number 5, fish where the fish are. Be sure that your teams are connecting with those key categories that are spending, and make sure that they're not going after folks who that they're going to be pulling back. Elizabeth's going to talk a little bit about where you guys should be prospecting right now in just a couple of slides. And bonus, innovation always matters, y'all. Bringing new products to market in a downturn is essential for brands seeking to maintain consumer enthusiasm. Spark an interest. Spark that brand name again. We want people to understand how excited we are and make them excited to want to work with you as well. Always stay engaged with them. A quick text message, a quick phone call, stopping by the shop once or twice, checking in, not just on, hey, can I get you to spend more money with us? Check in more on them as well.
Those things really matter, Ben. I think that that's such an incredible thing to really highlight here. Those little micro moments of human connection where you're just asking your advertiser, and shoot, maybe they haven't spent with you in a while, but you reached out to them and said, hey, I just wanted to see how things are going. I know it's been kind of a crazy year, crazy few years if we really think about it. How are you? And not having an agenda behind that. That goes so far. And I tell you what, 9 times out of 10, when it's time for them to be comfortable enough to start spending that money in marketing and being back in the marketplace, they're going to come to you. I also wanted to highlight as well, we were talking through these tricks and tips, super helpful, but be mindful that as the local media broadcasters or newspaper or magazine in your area, you too should be following those same tips and tricks for your brand. Are you marketing your special sections that you're publishing? Are you putting out tune-ins for your morning drive or for your evening newscast? Are you as in front of your target audience as you are telling your advertisers to be in front of their target audience? that matters as well. They want to see that you're practicing, you're walking the walk and you're talking the talk. It's all coming together because you're doing it as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important to maintain those relationships. I think I heard it once, it was well said by a gentleman I met recently, but he said, I don't want to work with you for a short time. I want to work with you forever. Those are the types of things that create those everlasting relationships, right?
Exactly.
Elizabeth, I know that this slide right here is something that everybody's taking pictures of. These are the industries to target today that we've actually done research and analysis on. Shout out to Nick Harper for pulling that stuff for us.
Whoop.
These folks are actually increasing their spending right now. So consumer index reports are showing this stuff. Elizabeth, go through these if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And really important to make sure you all have a plan, right? Tied to each of these, from experiences to professional services, electronics, home and family, recreation. Spring break is around the corner. People are already starting to plan summer vacations. I am. Retail, that is still alive and well. E-commerce, do we maybe need to look at a different business model for the advertiser as well, or an additional business model? Healthcare, of course, gosh, there's been a rise in a lot of just people getting sick and this RSV thing and the flu, and healthcare is still incredibly top of mind. And travel. Whoa, we all experienced some crazy travel over the holidays. But this is still where people are putting their dollars behind from a customer standpoint. So how are you preparing your team to proactively prospect these categories and really come up with a great go-to-market strategy, a valid business reason why someone who's a local jewelry shop or a masseuse location, why they should connect with you? Are you maybe going to shoot them over? We can pull an SEO audit for you and look at the health and wellness of your website. We'd love to make sure that we're maximizing your exposure on Google when people are searching for your kinds of products. These things are really going to matter when it comes to developing your pipeline with these categories that are shelling out marketing dollars right now.
Pipeline is the lifeline, as Elizabeth always says. One industry that's not in here that I absolutely want to make sure you guys are aware of as well, the cannabis industry. You've got 420 right around the corner here in about, 3 months and 1 day. Start talking to those folks right now. They need to be building their brand and putting these brands in front of those consumers right now. Cannabis actually falls underneath multiple of these different industries, experiences, recreation, healthcare even. Make sure that you're able to, connect with these folks and say, hey, we know you guys got the good green. We want to help you get that stash in front of everybody. So this is a great way for all of you guys, or a great group of industries to start going after right now.
Ben, that was such a great call out with cannabis, because that gets you thinking about, creative ideas on new categories as well. And that's the whole reason behind this conversation today. How can we kind of think outside the box? And with that, some additional creative ideas about engaging with your advertisers. We've already mentioned this a few times. Advertisers crave new things, right? They do want to learn about something shiny and new and cool. And how could that, help their business? So we mentioned about the loyalty program, really rewarding those who are loyal to your brand, discounts for maybe purchasing in advance, quarter by quarter, putting together some some added value bank that they can leverage at any point in time in the year. Ben, what's up?
The second bullet point, I have a perfect example of it. I took my wife out for our anniversary dinner. We went to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Absolutely phenomenal. When we spent at Ruth's Chris in December, they actually gave us a gift card that was available to use from January through March. So think about those things. Incentivize people to come back and spend more with you. There's obviously, they may not be able to provide as large of a discount that like a Ruth's Chris might be able to do, but you got to be creative. Find something that works for them. And
people take advantage of that seriously. I love a deal. I love a coupon. I love knowing that I'm getting a little extra value out of something. Reach customers quicker. So really change up the way you're starting that conversation with the advertiser, or you're re-engaging with them. Has it always been an email? Or, have you always texted? Maybe try a phone call, maybe stop by their place of business, shoot a video on your phone and send it to them. Change it up, get them excited to hear from you, but definitely change it up as you talk about, of course, products and services, but also you're asking how their business is. Hold a contest, giveaway. Love that 100%. That's something really gets people excited to win, right? I can be eligible to win something. It also creates brand loyalty through the station, through the newspaper, if it's going to go through you. Last but not least, host a workshop. And AdCellerant actually does this in tandem with our partners all the time, and they are phenomenal. They are so successful. Everyone gets really excited about them. Partners invite their advertisers. Maybe it's category based. Maybe it's just anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter what, kind of industry you're in. Come and learn about digital capabilities and solutions and what we're doing here at the newspaper, and, what our readership's like and what our O&O's like. This is a great time to really open up candid conversations with your advertiser. And they're also able to find like confidants in their industry, but through you. So you're that conduit of knowledge sharing, and it becomes really a great kind of mine for pipeline, right? So Ben actually has a really fantastic example that we're going to share with you, a case study that actually came from some webinars.
I'm going to share that case study here in just a second. There was a really good question that came through.
Oh,
from
perfect.
Paul. Paul says, can you share examples of loyalty programs that media companies have offered? I've seen lots of different forms of loyalty programs. I've seen forms of loyalty programs for customers who advertise for 12 months out of the year. If you are a consistent advertiser, you're hitting a certain threshold through the entire year, you get a little kickback, maybe a free email deployment, maybe you get some extra banner ads on their websites, or maybe you take them to a basketball game, something like that. I've also seen loyalty programs where obviously this happens more times for your larger advertisers, but if they spend a certain amount of money with you, you're giving them a bit more of a kickback there too. So that really incentivizes obviously the folks that are doing a little bit more with you, but don't just focus on the amount that people are spending with you. Focus on the consistency that they're spending with you as well. People who are doing this, every week during a your weekly print, or maybe daily, or maybe they're doing something monthly. Reward those people who are loyal customers to you.
And those rewards could also be something even different. I've seen, lunch with the publisher, right? Lunch with the news director, tied to key categories. So be creative again as to what those contests or reward or loyalty programs could actually look like. It could be something just that you have in your backyard.
This is cool right here. So I'm going to skip back now to the case studies that we talked about, right? At Accelerant, we're not just a technology and marketing company. We're a sales organization. We help to find and build growth with our partners. One of the ways that we do that is by providing them with different types of seminars, webinars, and getting in front of their customers and, kind of making the pitches for them, right? If you guys are a current partner, please reach out to your dedicated account manager and learn more about how you can take full advantage of that. They are absolutely indicative of providing immediate revenue growth. This case study that we have right here, we actually did this in our office. We had a nice partner who was in the Denver area with us and wanted to leverage our space, which is totally cool. We helped them drive over $150,000 in incremental revenue through a couple of lunch and learns and seminars that we put on for local businesses for a 1 to 2 day event about the digital marketing topic. There was invitation only, so they brought a lot of their key clients in, but then a handful of their prospects too. You know who sells your stuff better than you? Your clients who had success with it. Bring them together, bring them in, and let them have that little roundtable discussion about it. We had another one just recently where it was a partner of ours in Alabama. They brought in a few of their current customers, and they helped one customer go from spending $10K a month to almost $50,000 a month through the end of the year. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Those are the types of things that you want to do. See incremental and immediate impact on revenue growth, then also building pipelines of millions of dollars. with the groups that you can get in front of. So this is a print partner that we also work with as well. Each one of these seminars helped build at least 3 to 5 new appointments per webinar or seminar that we were doing. They got 6 new deals, new business deals. It's not like you're upselling your current business. These are new dollars to you guys. And they had 8 new advertisers by the second month. Think of that. Working through the process, letting your AdSolvent team kind of put together that presentation, explain these things, set the expectations, and you guys are reaping the benefits. These guys were ramping up from over 125K a month to over 177K a month in 90 days, and they had their largest ever digital sales month. It is absolutely crazy. Again, if you're a current partner, please bring this up with your dedicated account managers and talk to them about how you can unlock some of these types of seminars and webinars as well.
And
Finally, Elizabeth, talk tracks and solutions. We've kind of been anecdotal about adding some of these things in here throughout the presentation. Let's dial it in a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about our approach, how to reconnect, and how to get them talking.
Will do. And you know what? We talk about this a lot because it is so incredibly important, because how you connect with an advertiser, they're not an advertiser. They're a mom, they're a sister, they're a wife, a husband, a friend, a family member. So number one with approach, be genuine, be sincere. That will take you the farthest right there. Don't talk to your clients with the motive of selling. Talk to them with the motive of learning. And Ben and I have been actually talking a lot about that because we're in sales. We talk a lot with prospective partners. And, having just the AdSolvent show, well, that's great, but that doesn't provide the value that our partners need. We need to learn from them and how our capabilities, our products, our people can fit what's best for them. So you want to be sure that your mindset when you're talking with your advertisers is to learn. Reconnect. Again, we're in the people business, and everyone on this call, we know this, right? But reconnecting with those past advertisers that you haven't worked with in a while, those lapsed advertisers, people who flat out told you, no, I'm going with a competitor. Who cares? And I mean that. Call them anyway. Hey, how you doing? How are things? How is the campaign going? And remember, be sincere. Don't have there be an undertone there like, oh, I knew it wasn't going to be great because you didn't come with me. Be sincere, be real about your interest in their success, because guess what? Again, that will reward you in the long run. They understand that you are about the bigger picture of relationships, of marketing holistically, and being a real advocate for their brand and supporting them throughout this process.
And their success.
100% their success. Last but not least, get them talking. Yeah. So there's actually a fantastic article that I read on Time Magazine, and there was just a picture of lips zipped. We need to zip it, y'all. And I'm first to admit, I need to work on my zip it. Sellers need to zip it. Talk less, listen more, empathize, understand, use words like I understand. I could tell that was, impactful for your business. Use some humor too. That can really help break the ice. That can make something that was maybe a little bit more difficult to approach. Maybe you're having a difficult conversation. In the right circumstance, use humor, right? To just be able to further that connection and break down those barriers that might, be up. Listen. So approach, reconnect, get them talking. And I should put on here again, zip it.
And what do they want? They want you to zip it.
Zip it good.
What do they want from local media sales reps, according to Burrell, Elizabeth? I know we're lucky because we get to work very closely with the Burrell team. And we take this stuff true to heart, and we really spread this knowledge across the rest of our team. Tell us about what they want us to bring to the table, those advertisers.
First and foremost, more ideas. And I love this picture. This is actually Mohammed, who Ben mentioned earlier, our director of search. He is just a rock star. But they're looking for proactiveness from you as their marketing consultant. You can't just be sitting there waiting for deals to come into your, into your lap, into your inbox. We're past the days of transactional business. Goodbye. They want to have proactive consultants come with ideas, find new approaches to reach their goals and objectives and address problems, right? Obstacles that they're facing. They want to also connect with someone who's familiar with the business. Do your research. Make sure you are taking the time to look at their website. Do they have an industry association? Maybe check out and see what's happening across the industry at large. So you're going into that conversation a little dangerous. You're not knowing how the sausage is made, but that proactiveness of really taking charge of wanting to learn something new about their business, because we want them to learn all about our business, right? Oh gosh, you got to learn about all these products over here and all the reach over there. Be sure we are learning about their business. Educational opportunities. So this is also where, you're coming from that place of knowledge, the marketing side. So talking about the best practices, bringing case studies, we lean on case studies all the time with our partners. And we actually have, it's super cool in our knowledge base, we actually have a library of partner case studies across a multitude of categories.
Every category,
cannabis, automotive, finance, recruitment, health, you name it. So that's a great way to really connect with your advertiser again, but show them, proof of concept, how this actually worked for other like advertisers. And guess what? It's then supported by data. There's data in that case study. And there should be data in any kind of metrics reporting that you are sharing with your advertiser about how their campaign is actually performing. They're getting savvier, as we know. Advertisers are getting smarter because guess what? They've had tons of Bens and Elizabeths calling and emailing and texting and driving by. And, they're picking up, they're learning about this stuff. They want to see transparent data and accessible reporting. That's just a part of it now. That's not, I wish I could have it. That's a must, because they too want to analyze their spend and their data internally to see how this is impacting their business.
So this is nice because the same thing that we like to do for our partners, we want our partners to do for your clients as well. You don't need to turn your clients into a digital expert, but you want to make them more dangerous so that you're on the same page, so that you guys can tell a better story of success, be on the same level, and understand exactly what those expectations are across the board. You do those things through support classes, seminars on the importance of digital advertising, all sorts of things, but the opportunities are out there. And if you're looking for more ways to figure out how to do that, feel free to reach out to us. We've got some tried and true strategies. We've got a lot of tribal knowledge from all of the partners that we get to work with, that we're fortunate enough to work with, and make that stuff happen. When you're thinking about products in the sales process, make sure you keep it nice and simple, right? Oh, targeted display. I say that instead of programmatic display these days. Local SEO. Oh, that's your local Google online presence. It makes a little bit more sense, right, than just saying local SEO. What does it actually mean? Keep in mind, your advertisers need to know each touch point that they have with a potential customer is going to help build their credibility, build that brand loyalty, and increase the likelihood of when that customer is actually going to convert, or a potential customer is going to convert into an actual customer. So all these types of things tied together. Don't just sell them products, sell them a solution, sell them results. And if you're having a hard time bringing that to the table today, I highly encourage you to reach out to Elizabeth, myself, anyone else at the Accelerant team. We'd love to show you guys exactly how we can make that happen. And that's why I talk about partnerships that matter. You guys have a lot of opportunity with all the folks that you're working with already. And the opportunity is just absolutely incredible, right? Look at your customers, look at your partners, and find out where that happy medium is. And not just a happy medium, but a medium that helps to propel you to be better. Are you getting the education, the training, Do you understand how to build your pipeline development? Do you know how to activate revenue or grow revenue or protect revenue? And do you have experts that you can lean into, that you can call and text and email, and you understand them and you understand how to talk to them? You know how to leverage those resources. Again, whatever you're getting from your partners or whatever you expect from your partners, you need to reciprocate to your customers. Make sure that you have accountability too for them. Make sure that you're being transparent and that you're always providing that value. This is what AdSellerant will always bring to the table. Thank you all so much. For those of you who are current AdSellerant partners, we sincerely appreciate your business and wish all of you the best of luck in 2023. If there's anything that we can do, or if either of us can be a resource for you, please let us know. If you're not currently an AdSellerant customer and partner, please feel free to reach out to myself or Elizabeth. We will be sure to send the deck, the recording, and some cool tips and tricks and a follow-up for everybody.
Cheers. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.